Hey guys, so in today's lesson, I'm going to be answering a very common question that most English language learners have. And that question is, how can I speak better English? How can I speak better English? Now, if you've ever asked this question yourself, you might have gotten an answer like this. To improve your speaking skills, you must practice speaking. And while this is absolutely true, it can be difficult to know how to do that, how to effectively practice your speaking skills and where to start. So in today's lesson, I'm going to give you 5 simple but effective steps that you can follow to help yourself improve your speaking skills in English. So let's get started. So step number 1 is to first of all understand the different parts or different aspects of speaking as a skill, okay? So if you think of speaking as the main skill or the target skill, it's basically made up of lots of smaller things. So for example, you have fluency, pronunciation, you have grammar, vocabulary, the content of what you're actually saying. All of these things will make you a better speaker. And in order to speak English better, you have to work on all of these areas, on all of the individual parts of speaking to make you a strong speaker overall, okay? So I'll give you another example to help you understand this concept. Imagine that you decide, okay, I want to get in shape, I want to work out, I want to lose weight, I want to get strong, okay? But you go to the gym and you only lift weights with your arms. You only work out your arms, okay? So your goal is to become stronger overall, or to become, to get into better shape overall, but you're only exercising one part of your body, your arms. The result is going to be that you're going to end up with really strong or bulky or big arms, and the rest of your body is going to be exactly the same. There's going to be no change, okay? So the same thing, the same concept applies to speaking. If you want to be a strong speaker or you want to speak English better, it's very important that you exercise or you work on all aspects of speaking, not just one of them. So if you work on only your pronunciation or only your vocabulary, but you don't work on all of the other areas together, that's not going to work, okay? So again, step 1 is to first understand the different parts involved in speaking, okay? This is super, super important. Step 2 is to identify your weak areas when it comes to speaking, all right? So we mentioned that there are different parts or different smaller skills inside of speaking. So you have your fluency, your pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, content, all of that good stuff. So once you understand that speaking is made up of smaller skills, then you can look at these skills individually and see, okay, which ones am I pretty good at, which ones am I really good at, and which ones do I need to work on, okay? So for example, let's imagine that you have great vocabulary, a good level of grammar, and you have some great ideas, okay? But when you speak, people have trouble understanding you, maybe because your pronunciation is not clear. In this case, you would have to work more on this specific area, okay? And the same goes for any of the other areas. If you feel like when you are speaking, the challenge is you don't have enough vocabulary, or you don't have enough phrases, you don't have enough words basically, then your focus will be a little bit more on vocabulary for different topics, okay? And of course, there's a different strategy for every single area, but the first thing is to first of all understand that there are smaller skills inside of speaking, and secondly, to look at yourself and say, okay, which skills do I need to work on? So identify your weaker areas. So step 3 is to make your plan, to create your plan of action, okay? A plan that is going to help you target your specific weaknesses, all right? So speaking practice is not going to look the same for every single person because not every single person has the same weaknesses and the same challenges, okay? So the way that you practice is going to look different depending on what areas you need to work on. So I'll give you an example of what I mean by this. Imagine that you have a good level of grammar, a good level of vocabulary, and you have some good ideas, you have some good content, okay? But your issue is pronunciation. Imagine that when you speak, people don't understand you and you realize that, okay, it's because of my pronunciation, so I have to fix this. In this case, you could start off with shadowing, for instance. Now, shadowing is a technique where you listen to an English speaker and you basically shadow or copy or repeat what you have heard, okay? And there's some different ways that you can do this, but I would suggest finding an audio clip of an English speaker with good pronunciation, clear pronunciation, okay? And literally listening to them, repeating it exactly as you heard it. So including the intonation, the word stress, and so on. And then recording yourself and actually comparing it to the original clip, okay? So this requires a little bit of effort, but I promise you it can deliver some amazing results, all right? Pronunciation is not an easy thing to fix. You have to consciously practice and focus on your pronunciation, and this is one great way to do that, okay? So you could even use this video. You could use a 30-second clip or a 20-second clip of this video with me speaking. Listen to it again and again and again, and literally try to copy 1 or 2 sentences that I'm saying, okay? Record your voice, play back the original clip, play back your clip, and compare them, okay? Do they sound similar? Do they sound completely different? And you might be surprised at how good you sound, all right? And I know that in the beginning, if you've never tried this technique before, it's gonna feel awkward and uncomfortable, and you will feel strange because you're basically copying the sound of someone else's voice. You're kind of being an actor or an actress in a way, but this is really effective. I myself have tried this when I worked in China and when I worked in Thailand, and the pronunciation of the languages was so difficult for me. It was so difficult. So the only way for me to improve my pronunciation was literally to listen to people and mimic or copy them exactly as they sounded. And that was effective for me. I tried to improve my pronunciation on my own. I just tried to practice and practice, and it really didn't work. People did not understand me. People did not understand simple questions or phrases that I said. And the issue was my pronunciation, okay? So that's just one example of one area, pronunciation, all right? I'll give you one more example. Imagine that your weakness is your content, organizing your ideas, coming up with ideas of things to talk about. In this case, you need to work on developing and organizing your ideas, okay? So that when you have a conversation with someone new on a new topic, you're not stuck, okay? Because this is a challenge as well for a lot of English language learners. And in this case, I would recommend listening to podcasts on different topics, writing your points, your ideas down, and practicing on different topics, okay? As well, speaking about different topics is so important. I cannot stress enough how important it is, because a lot of times people get used to talking about 1 or 2 topics. So most of my students and most English learners who I've spoken to can talk about themselves, they can talk about their job, they can talk about their country, and sometimes it kind of stops there, okay? Obviously, depending on the level. So if you are talking about the same 3 things all the time, yourself, your job, your country, yourself, your job, your country, you will be an expert on those topics. But when you are faced with a conversation and someone asks you your opinion about a new topic, you might freeze and get nervous because you don't have the content or the ideas or maybe even the vocabulary for those new topics, all right? So speaking about different topics will also help you to develop your ideas and to develop your content and to learn more vocabulary as well, okay? So again, step number 3 is to create a plan that works for you to focus on your specific weaker areas of speaking. Step number 4 is to stick to your plan. Now, stick to your plan just means continue the plan that you have made. Be consistent. Make sure that you do this practice you have chosen for yourself regularly. Consistency is very, very, very important when it comes to improving your speaking skills in English or in any language, okay? So think back to the example that we talked about earlier of exercising, okay? The same thing applies. If you want to see results, you have to keep doing it. You can't exercise for one day or 1 week and expect amazing results. And it's exactly the same for speaking in English. You cannot speak in English for 1 week or 2 weeks or a few hours and expect incredible results. You can expect incredible results if you put in the work and you are consistent, okay? So whatever way you decide to practice, whether you find a speaking partner, whether you take a speaking class, whether you practice on your own at home, whatever method works for you, you need to choose something that you can keep doing regularly, okay? Every single day if you can, every single day. Choose something that fits your schedule and that works with your lifestyle, okay? So maybe you can afford to take a speaking class. Maybe you can't. Maybe you can afford to travel abroad just to practice a language, but maybe you can't, okay? So choose something that works for you, that is realistic for you, that fits your lifestyle and is not a hassle or is not inconvenient for you. Something you can actually stick to, okay? So if that means, let's say, recording yourself talking about a different topic for 5 minutes each day, if that is manageable for you, then stick to that, okay? So again, step number 4 is to stick to your plan, to keep going. Make sure that whatever you're doing, you do it regularly. And step number 5 is to measure your progress, okay? To measure your progress. And this just means to keep track of how you are actually doing, to monitor how you are doing and to see if the plan you made and the strategies you're using are actually working for you, okay? It's always important to see how you are doing and to see progress because that is what motivates you, especially when it comes to learning English and practicing on your own. You need to see some progress, okay? Now, if you study with a teacher, your teacher will always be able to see the progress. I can always see the progress in my students even when they cannot, okay? So if you're alone, you must develop a way that you can check your own progress. And there's some simple ways that you can do that, okay? So one way of doing that is recording yourself, okay? Either filming yourself or just recording your voice, that's also fine, okay? You can use whatever device you have, your phone, your computer, it doesn't matter. It's just for you, it's not for anyone else, okay? So if you record yourself, you will be able to look back from week to week, from month to month, from year to year, and actually see the change in yourself, okay? So imagine that you have another goal like losing weight, okay? To see the change, you can take pictures of yourself, you can weigh yourself on a scale, okay? Let's say that your goal is to save money, all right? You still need to see the progress. You will check your account balance to see whether you're saving money or you're not, okay? And the same thing goes when you want to improve your speaking skills. You need to see your progress. So recording yourself and then comparing after a few weeks, after 1 month, after 2 months is a great way of doing that, okay? Another way that you can measure your progress is to look at the things that you couldn't do before and the things that you can do now, okay? So for example, imagine that 2 months ago, you couldn't have a phone conversation in English. You could not call a customer service line. You could not order food on the phone. You could not talk to the bank on the phone, okay? But after 2 months, you are able to do that. Or after 3 months, you are able to do that. This is an example of progress, okay? So you could write these things down in a journal. You could write down your goals. You could write down a timeline for achieving them. For example, right now, I cannot call the bank and talk to the bank on the phone, okay? I want to be able to do this within 1 month time, okay? Then you have to create steps to make that happen, all right? The first phone call is going to be difficult, but there are ways to do it, okay? And then you can look back on your goals, you can look back on the dates, you can always make changes to the dates, to the goals, based on yourself, based on how you are doing, okay? And remember that setting these goals is only to help you. It's not for anyone else, okay? Recording yourself is not for anyone else. It's just for you. And the purpose of this is not to beat yourself up if you don't reach your goals. It's actually to celebrate when you do make progress, okay? Because so many times, English learners, language learners, and people, human beings in general, we always look at the things that we failed with. We always look at what we didn't do or what we couldn't do instead of the things that we did do or the things that we could do, okay? So I really encourage you to keep track of your progress, either by recording yourself or by writing down your goals and a timeline and going back to see if you were able to do those things, okay? These methods will really, really help you, all right? So one example was talking to the bank on the phone. Another example is being able to have a conversation with a new person, okay? Let's say right now you are too shy, it's too difficult, you can't approach a new person and start a conversation in English, and this is a goal for you, okay? Set a realistic timeline for yourself, create situations where you can actually do that, where you can meet new people, where you can talk to new people, and this will happen, okay? So remember to be realistic, to be specific, and to keep track of your progress, okay? Again, it's just for you, it's not for anyone else, and when you have accomplished the goal, you should be proud and you should celebrate it. So there you have it, 5 simple steps to help you speak better English. Now, I just want to remind you that improving your speaking skills will not happen overnight, okay? It does require patience, effort, and consistency. But if you are patient, if you make the effort, and you are consistent, you will improve your speaking skills. You will see results, all right? So if you want to connect with me and study with me, check out the links down below. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one.